Okay, can you take a really deep breath? Okay, let's try again. So Abby is a gorgeous little redhead girl who is happy and delightful and wants to make other people happy.
I think of Abigail as a very energetic, fun, sociable person who's probably the hardest worker right now.
Usually when people meet Abby for the first time, they're interested more than anything. I find little kids watch her and sort of stare at her and try to figure her out because they're really not sure sort of what to make of her initially. I think the shaking throws them off a little bit with the tremor. But then once they get to know Abby, she's someone who really draws people in, and I find people just want to be with her and they want to hang out with her.
For the most part, if you'd look at Abigail walking by, that you would see that she's just a normal 8-year-old girl. And it's not until you get up close and you find out, obviously she can't walk, and some of the shaking and stuff like that. I think it takes people at first. When I first heard about Abigail's condition officially, I was actually encouraged because now we actually had an answer.
She has what's called mitochondrial disease and ataxia. And with mitochondrial disease, it's a neat disease or interesting disease because it affects every child a completely different way. So any child we've ever met with mito has been completely different. So in Abby, it affects her gross motor ability, so her ability to walk on her own, fine motor, so she's really shaky, so to write or to dress is difficult for her, and then it also affects her speech. So,
Ready? Yes. Can you walk away from me? The combination of the mitochondrial disease and the ataxia affects Abby quite a bit in the way that she produces muscle contractions. The ataxia is also related to that as well. So it means that when she does a muscle contraction, she doesn't always grade the muscle contraction well. Her muscles don't always fire at the right time, and she can't control the speed of the muscle contraction. So what it ends up looking like are sort of involuntary tremors or movements when she's making effort to move.
7. How?
I know it's hard. You're doing great. 3 more. 8.
So Abby was born fairly normally. She was born a little bit early, 2.5 weeks early. But then she wasn't meeting sort of the milestones that other children her age were meeting. She wasn't sitting up on her own, she wasn't standing on her own, and by 1 she wasn't walking on her own. So we kept going to our doctor, and our doctor said, no, it's fine, just, she's just a typical kid, she's doing things in her own time. And then at 15 months she developed a tremor, and we noticed one day her arms and legs were shaking.
When I first met Abby, to be really honest with you, I was terrified to treat her, which I'm not proud to admit, but her ataxia was so strong and she was so upset when she came in a lot of the time that I was always walking a fine line between challenging her enough that I felt her therapy session was beneficial and then risking her getting hurt or me getting hurt. But now that I know Abby so much better, I'm so delighted that we're past that. Hey, are we gonna do something else?
Yeah.
Okay, come on over here. So Abby comes here right now, usually about twice a month. So I'm doing probably more functional training with her now. Very much more sort of conventional physiotherapy, but working on primarily balance and strengthening.
We're at the point now when the other day at Butterfly, we were with Carrie, and she walked probably about 18 feet all by herself, stopping once, kind of catching her balance, and then walking again. So she's made huge progress.
So Abby goes to Chile to meet with a therapist by the name of Ramon Cuevas. And Ramon has developed his own kind of therapy called Cuevasmetic exercises, or CME.
He is 70 years old now. He created this many years ago, and he developed it. It's his brainchild, it's his vision. So to go to him and work with the man who created the therapy, it's like no other. It's like having Michael Jordan teach you how to play basketball.
It's the only sort of method of therapy that he does. So he's very strong, he's very powerful, he has great hands and a great touch with the kids. So they go to Chile usually 2 or 3 times a year to get an intensive therapy, which means daily therapy or twice daily therapy for a week or 2 weeks, depending upon how long they're going for.
He's got just such a relationship with her that he really pushes her over and above anything you can get here. There's no one here that can really do that.
When we first started seeing Ramon, she could barely walk, even holding on to us. We were holding on to both hands and fairly tightly. And when we left him after our first 2-week block working with him, we were walking with her holding just one hand.
Step, take it slow, don't dive. Good.
Abby's condition affects her home life probably not really too much. I mean, she's like any other kid when she's at home.
She's able to play, move about the house regularly. Really the only thing that's affected is, with the fine motor skills, is the dining, of course, and then getting ready in the morning. Sometimes she needs a little help. So Abigail, in her free time, especially likes to paint. She likes to color. She likes playing in her space with her books. She enjoys her iPad and watching her movies and her television shows. And then, of course, when the weather's better, she appreciates going outside, riding her bike, going about, having walks with the dog. She's really much a free spirit in that sense.
It affects Abby's school. Cognitively, she is doing really well, but she's not working at the same grade level as other kids her age. Things are delayed for her. Her speech is delayed, so it makes school more difficult for her. She is in a grade 3 classroom, but she also goes to a learning center for English or language and mathematics.
Kids tend to be attracted to her. She's very outgoing, she's passionate with people, she gets along with anyone.
She can't have the same sort of deep relationships and deep conversations that other little girls her age would have. But at the same time, Abby has lots of friends. Kids love Abby.
I think Abigail inside knows a lot about her condition. I think she knows she's got the little shakes, and she's a little different at times, but special. So as far as the details, the medical reasoning and definitions of her disease, I'm sure she doesn't know, but she knows she's different, and that's fine.
I think that because it's something that she's always had, I don't know that she feels anything about it, because it's just who she is, and she has a really nice network and support team around her as a result of it.
I'm a firm believer that if we are able to train Abigail's mind to do something, that eventually she'll do it automatically. She's starting to take her first steps on her own. She's starting to go from furniture to furniture. And it's really just maturity, and I think really soon she's just going to be strolling about.
You know, as a physiotherapist, I'm not going to take away her mitochondrial disease. I'm not going to take away her ataxia. But I think what's most important is that she's making progress, that she has a wonderful family around her who are doing everything they can to maximize her potential, but also to recognize things that that make Abby happy.
What I see with Abigail moving forward is that she's going to continue to get stronger, and we're going to continue to look for answers.
Part of me likes to believe that she will develop into a regular teenager and adult with all the abilities to function normally. And another part of me doesn't really know. So I don't really answer that question very often. Mike and I tend not to think about it too much. We just sort of take everything year by year and treat Abby for who she is, not what she has.